Good morning. This is a Scrap Your Stash, and I'm going to be working on a card. I'm going to go with the theme of July, Christmas in July. So we're going to start working on Christmas cards. I'm going to be showing you guys a series of Christmas cards using only the coordinating cardstock. So today I have chosen to kind of go with the theme of Jingle Joy from last year. So if you want to use the Jingle Joy stamp sets, you can. But I'm going to be doing a motion card, and I have Clover, Evergreen, and Raspberry, which were three of the coordinating sets from, or colors from Jingle Joy last year. I really like the Raspberry, giving it a really good pop. And then I have this little white piece that we're going to be stamping on. All of these are from scraps that I've just recently put through my machine. So, and then we'll put a sentiment on there. So let's go ahead and start building our card. I'm going to get my trimmer, and I'm going to trim this one down to, I think I'm going to do just 1/8 of an inch off of the A2 size. So I'm going to need to do 5 3/8 and a 4 1/8. And this way it's just a little bit of white showing through behind it. I will need to cut this guy down as well. The best way to know that is I cut my window from my squares. It was this middle square that I used. This middle size, so it leaves this other size here, and I can just measure that out. If I don't want to use this as a stamping background, I can just measure it out and then cut this. I actually prefer to cut my own because I like the tag, or the tab here, the same piece of paper as what I'm stamping on. If you don't, sometimes it gets snagged on the back if you paste it on, or if you don't make one big enough, it'll get snagged. So just be aware of that. So this is a 2 3/4, 1 2 3/4 inch square. So 2 3/4. So I'm going to put this. I'm actually going to add a 1/4 onto it because this window is a 1/4 inch thick. See that? It's a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to add a 1/4 onto it. So I'm going to go up to 3 inches here. And that's just so that this window can sit right up against this. Okay. And it's not tucked back into it. Now, I'm going to actually flip it so that I can trim off at this end. Now I do need this at 2 3/4 exactly, so that I'll slide in and out of that window. So now, when we get everything pasted correctly, it should see how it's fit just perfectly in there. It'll be perfect for when we slide it back and forth after we add the adhesive tape. Okay, so we're going to do one more cut, one more trim. I have a white piece of paper around here somewhere that I was trying to glue some Cricut words on there, and it just wasn't working out for me. So we're just going to use it. So I'm going to put this at sleeve. Let's see. I don't know how much white I want, or red. The raspberry I want to leave, the pink. I want to leave a full 1/4 inch, or close to a 1/4 inch. Maybe we do a little bit more than 1/8, in between 1/8 and 1/16, yeah. So if I were to do 1/8 of an inch, I would trim it down to 5 1/8. But I think I'm just going to trim it just a touch more and do 5. 5 even. The other one I did at 4 1/8, right? So I'm going to come down to 3 3/4. And you know what? That might not be what I want anyway, but yeah, I don't think so. I think actually I might just omit the white, because the way I want to do this is I want this as my background instead. So I think what I'm going to do, where's my piece? There it is. Okay, so this is what I was thinking about doing. And then having the window right there. And then this sliding in and out this way. Okay, and then I'll put a tag here that says like Merry Christmas. So I think I'm going to leave the white off. I had another plan, but I think I vetoed it when I cut this one. Okay. Oh, I still need my trimmer because you still need to cut down the motion paper. So I'm going to do that. And that needs to be it needs to be as wide as this, right? So that is a 1, 2, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And that's so that we can adhere it onto there. So 3 1/4. With 3 1/4. Now you got to be really careful with this stuff. You got to make sure that everything is going to be vertical. So you got to make sure your lines are lined up exactly, or else you need to recut it. Okay, or else it's not going to work. Okay, put that aside. I'm going to go ahead and bring this guy, flip this one over. Oops, I don't want to flip it over yet. I got to line up my stamp. Okay, so the stamp that I've chosen is from the Christmas collection for the animated. It's called Animated Holiday Cheer. I'm going to use the little reindeer. This guy right here. The other reindeer on here does not move in the motion. So make sure you choose. And this guy has actually quite a bit of motion to him. You can tell with whatever is lined, but I have not used this stamp set yet. And I've had it for over a year, or almost a year. Not quite a year, but almost a year. Because the stamp sets came out, the original motion stamp sets came out last September. So you have to line it up perfectly. So there's my little dude. I'm going to get my 3x3 block because I know that it pretty much goes in a 3x3 square. And you just got to make sure you line up your line. So what I'm talking about is there's this little line in here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you. There it is. Right here. And that is actually carved into the block. But it's a nice straight edge so that you can get right on your paper perfectly. So these are what you're going to want. You're going to make sure you want those lines. And since this is a brand new stamp set to me, well, to use, I've had it for a while. I've had it for probably 9 months. But by the time this one came out, my Christmas cards were pretty much done. So, okay, I'm going to just stamp on this just to get it more seasoned because it is a very solid stamp. So I just want to make sure that I can get a really good coating on it. And this is another way to season if you guys don't want to do your arm or whatever. So he's pretty well seasoned, actually. See, you got to make sure you rub it and then tap, tap, tap to get the nice dark. Okay. And I forgot to get my chamois wet just a minute. I'll do that. Okay, just so I have it ready for when I'm ready. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to just cut in the garbage and find my little tag. So here's my little tag. Let's just make sure before I cut it down or before I stamp on it that I don't need to cut it in any way based on this. And it looks pretty good to me. Okay, so that's going to come right up to there. So there's about 1/4 inch on either side on these 3 sides, which is perfect. That's what we wanted. Okay, so now rub, 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 tap, tap, tap. And this little guy needs to line up perfectly on here so that those lines are up and down. Okay, so there's my cute little reindeer. Now remember, you want to use a pretty bold color for these types of stamps. The softer colors like Glacier or Mint, the yellows. Sundance, I haven't tried it with Sundance. Sundance might be bold enough that you can. But like Lemonade and Canary, you're not going to see anything. It's got to be pretty close to that black so that it tricks the eye. Right? So I want to just make sure before I glue everything down that this is going to actually work. And it does look like he's working, so that's a good thing. It's always good to make sure before you start gluing stuff down. Okay. Flip this back over. Let's start building it up. So you're going to need thin 3D foam. I've seen it done without the foam. I don't know how well it works because I haven't actually done it. But now you're going to want to do 3 sides. So because I flipped this over, I need to do these 3 sides, leaving this side open so that we can use that. And I'm using the thinner one. This is the thin 3D foam tape, but I'm using the 1/4 inch wide. And the other thing that you want to do on this is you want to make sure you go all the way across. Being me, I tried to be skimpy, and it does not work on this, guys. And I always do the top and bottom and then the side. And it just makes for a smoother slide on your piece of paper underneath. Now you could leave both sides open and then they can slide it both ways. If you wanted to do another tag over here, you could have done that. And I've done that before. And put this right in the middle of your card. And then they have both ways that they can move it, which is quite fun, especially for kids. Kids like to move these things. In fact, I make these for my nieces and nephews for their birthdays. I have not made one for my daughter yet, but I'm sure that might be this year for her birthday. We will see. As you can see, I'm having issues cutting this little guy. Having issues getting the right angle, I guess. Okay. Okay, now, even if I did do this side, it wouldn't have been a big deal. You just flip it, right? So, but I need to make sure that I flip it onto the card like this. Actually, I messed that all up. I'm supposed to do this guy first. Well then, Oh well, we'll try it this way. We'll try for a more snug fit, I guess. We will try. I got a little ahead of myself, so make sure you do this one first, or the motion first. You're going to want to make sure that everything's vertical. In fact, I can't see it on there, so let's just do it up here. And I'm going to do it like this, I think. So we're going to try something new. If it doesn't work, I'll peel it off and I'll put some more 3D foam tape on this part, and then we'll, it's just going to be a little bit thicker than normal. But he's still going to work this way. It just might be a little tough to pull, that's all. I'm going to use you can use liquid glass, but I'm going to use my Tombow blue glue for this. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this first with my Tombow runner onto the pink. Okay. Now I'm going to take this, scooch this back up so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to leave my tag aside for right now. I'm going to put just a little line in the center here. And hopefully that'll secure it enough. Tombow doesn't really work on, the Tombow runner doesn't really work on the glassy stuff, like the motion paper. So we'll just wait just a little bit for that. While we wait, let's go ahead and do the sentiment. I'm going to use the same stamp set, and I think I'm going to just put Merry Christmas, these two. And it's just going to be on a little tag here. And that little tag, I'll probably put, maybe we'll angle it, I don't know. Put it here somewhere. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, so, because I haven't played around with it. So Christmas I think is pretty long, so this has to be a fairly thick tag for sentiment. And I think it'll fit on a 2x. Yep, it'll fit on a 2x. So I think that's probably what I want. Don't think this will fit. Well, maybe it will fit side by side. Let's try it. Squeeze it way over here. And way over there. It will. So let's just do that, and I'll use my, not my really long guy, but maybe I will use my really long guy. I can't find my other one. It's gone. Now these aren't motion, so it doesn't really matter. But I haven't used them yet. Okay, so there's that. And maybe we'll do this one in raspberry. Get a bit of a contrast. I'll just use the foam this time since I have something drying. Okay. And then we'll trim it. So there's Merry Christmas. I like how they usually use different fonts for sentiments. I think it gives it some character. Now if you want the same font, then you probably should buy either do it on the Cricut or one of those cutting and drawing machines, or print it out on the computer, or you can get the stamp sets that are the alphabet stamp sets. So those are some of the options. Okay, just quickly put this here, get this trimmed down to size. I want it pretty close. We'll put it right at 3/4 inch. That's a nice friendly measurement, isn't it? Okay. And I'll just glue it right there. So it's not going to hinder anything. Let's just see if this is dry. I can move it. Okay, I can't move it, so that's a good thing. Plus, right? Let's get our little reindeer. Let's see if we can sneak him in there. Maybe this works better, I don't know. It'd definitely be a more snug fit. In fact, it's coming up off the paper now. Okay, we're gonna have to redo that because it's just not working. So let's just put more tape. So don't do what I did, because now you gotta use more tape. And you know what's funny is I do that quite often, where I forget that I need to put that little motion paper in there. Sneaky little guy, huh? Oh well. And I'm going to do it differently, so I don't wrestle with this tape like I did last time. So it was a bit aggravating. Okay. Just going to trim that back just a little bit. Same with this guy, I don't like the white showing. So you can always angle your scissors back, and I'll trim backwards just a little bit. And these are my non-sticks. So things just peel right off, which is nice. Make sure that they work again. Okay, make sure I get this the correct way. Peel this off. Let's try this again, huh? Almost done, guys. Okay, make sure my opening is to the right. Put it pretty much in the center. Much better. So for those of you curious if that works, I don't care for it, but there's our little reindeer moving. The last thing that I'm going to do is put the pole on there, which is in my stamp sets behind me. So maybe what I'll just do is just write it. Either that, maybe I'll just write ho 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 or something like that. That'd be cute, huh? Let's do ho ho ho. Let's put a little arrow. Okay, little arrow, ho ho ho. Balances it out just a little bit more. But this way they know that they need to slide it. Okay, one more thing and then we're done. So this is a bit thicker than I anticipated, but that's okay. It'll still work. Let's get this Merry Christmas on here. You know what, I want actually just bottom of this really taped well, because that's what's going to be sticking, is the bottom to the paper. And there we go. So let's put it on the card. Grab a card. You guys, I think I have fun. I have quite the mess going here. I'm not the best judge of whether you have fun or not, is what the mess you make. So that's how it's going to look on the card. Let's go ahead and put some Tombow on the back. Now, don't forget, this is a new catalog. It's been week 1 of the new catalog. Super nice catalog. If you order from dleader.closetomyheart.com, then you can get a free catalog in the mail with your order. And then you can see all the goodies just right there at your fingertips. Also, this is the last catalog before the annual comes out. So don't forget, annual catalog is coming out in September. So there's our cute little Christmas card that has some motion. Pretty cute. So thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time. Bye.